This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of Jade Empire. In the last episode, we died! Yeah, we beat the Emperor, but then Master Li showed his true colors and killed us because of the flaw in our technique. Although, he said something about a flaw in our technique, yet all he did was throw a stone up and then jabbed us while we weren't paying attention. So it's not like that flaw really had a point to that. I mean, I get the idea behind it, but it seems kind of silly in retrospect, at least when the cutscenes are concerned. But anyway, we are dead. We are of the dead. Blech. And we need to find a way to escape this nightmare and become real again with the help of the wire dragon, at least as long as she can hold us in place till we restore the waters, and then we'll come back to the living. And we also had a huge exposition scene about what truly happened with Master Li, and the cutscene that we saw at the beginning of the game of him explaining how he saved us when we found out just some parts of that were missing, whether it be from the tail or whatever. So that was a neat little part to it. So yeah, Master Li wore the Death's Hand outfit, although it wasn't called Death's Hand at the time. His brother Sun Kim is now the Death's Hand because the spirit is tied to the armor. So 9 out of 10 probably means that Death's Hand is probably alive, so Sagacious Zoo's death was probably in vain. I mean, when you think about it, right? I mean, if he was a spirit tied to it, that means he can't really be killed. So he's probably going to come back later. It's reasonably be assumed. So anyway, we've got Abbott on our team now to help us while we're in here till we can restore the waters. So let's ask him some questions as we move on.
I know the monastery well. If there are questions you wish to ask in your quest to restore the fountains, I will do my best to answer them.
How much wood could a woodchuck could if a woodchuck chuck would? Yeah, I messed that up. But anyway, the joke still stands. Do you have any advice for me? I want to know more about my amulet. I'm curious about it. I guess we'll just ask it all. Do you have any advice for me?
Only that you should do as the water dragon asked, and try to restore the fountains of Dirge.
So just do what the watery tart tells me. So she throws a scimitar at me, I can call myself king? Nice to know. How am I supposed to restore the fountains?
The fountains were tainted with human blood, which shattered their seals. The blood that stained them is gone. Replacing the seals should restore them.
Should, huh?
I know the monastery.
Oh, we can skip that. I want to know more about my amulets, because it seems to be rockin' awesome. Look, I mean, you could sell those things in real life. Actually, if they'd made this game today, I bet the dragon amulet would have been an actual, like, store item or something like that, I bet. I'm surprised they haven't done, or maybe they have done, I don't know. I usually don't wear merchandise from games and stuff like that, unless someone gives it to me. I usually don't go out of my way to buy it, unless it's, like, super on sale or something like that, because I like to pinch my pennies so hard that they get stuck on my skin.
The amulet is an artifact of great power, though few truly understand its nature. What do you wish to know?
Well, I mean, everything. I mean, anyway, I saw Lee take it from me. How can I still use it?
The amulet is a powerful tool, but it is only a tool. When you were first learning to unleash the power within you, the amulet helped you to focus your mind and energy. But you are a spirit monk. The power of the water dragon was always in you, not in the amulet. Now you are strong enough to draw on that power without the amulet.
So you're saying the Schwartz was in me the whole time? Seriously, game? It was in you, Lone Star. It was in you. The amulet is bupkis. I found it in a Cracker Jack box. If the power is mine, what does the amulet do?
It is a tool and a focus. It allows you to understand the power you can wield, and to use the essence gems that so many discount as trinkets. We alone can draw on more than one gem at a time. You can do this, even without the physical amulet, now that you know your true nature.
I'm just epic, that's all. Let's see. If the amulet is only a focus, why did Lee take it from me?
You no longer need the amulet, but Lee has a use for it. Lee's brother, Sunhai, consumed the water dragon's power, but without the amulet, it was a long and slow process. Even after 20 years, he was not strong enough to defeat you. Had the Lotus Assassins brought him enough pieces of the amulet, he would have been far more powerful. But Sun Li has the amulet, making him far more dangerous. With it, he can draw on the Water Dragon's power much faster. Unless you stop him soon, he will become invincible.
Well, gotta stop him before he becomes a god, so I can become a god. No, I don't know. Why were the pieces of the amulet scattered across the Empire?
I did not want the amulet to fall into the hands of our enemy. When I realized the battle was lost, I shattered it into several pieces. I gave the pieces to my apprentices and told them to flee to the farthest reaches of the Empire. The core of the amulet was given to the young monk who fled with you. I knew the core alone would be enough for you to start discovering your true power. But anyone else would need to find all the pieces to use the amulet.
Well, thanks for that, I guess. Why is it so powerful?
The amulet is a powerful tool, but it is only a tool.
Wait, didn't I just ask
But
that?
you...
Okay. I didn't think I actually asked that specific question, but I got a similar answer. Oh, well, anyway, okay, I guess we're done with that. I'll ask you something else.
I will do my best to answer whatever questions you might have.
Alright, I was gonna ask like another stupid question, like, why? Or something like that, but anyway. Yeah, I'm curious about the spirit monks in Dirge.
I would be honored to help you learn more about our order and your legacy.
You're probably not going to be honored when you find out about my personality quirks. You know, something about Discord, closed fist, yada yada yada. But anyway, you said I was born here at Dirge?
Many of our order were brought to us as children. Orphans we raised to serve our great mistress. But a few children are born here at the monastery. Both your mother and father were spirit monks. You were born right here in Dirge, and bathed in the sacred fountains, mere days before we were destroyed. Both your mother and father died in the attack, along with the rest of us who served the Water Dragon.
And no, we never see the mother and father as far as I'm aware of. I don't remember anyway. But anyway, yeah, this monk organization almost kind of reminds me of the Jedi, where they bring children and stuff like that here. But of course, the Jedi were inspired by monk cultures in the East, which this game is also inspired by monk cultures in the East. So, you know, getting it from the same area. But anyway, you know, you always tie things to the things you know the most. What were my parents like?
They were good people. Their love for each other was matched only by their devotion to the Water Dragon herself. Had they survived, you would have been raised here in Dirge. They would have instructed you from birth in the duties of a spirit monk. It is a tragedy you never knew them.
What, were you expecting him to say that they hated each other and they bickered like 24/7? Yeah, that's not... I don't think anyone would do that, like, when a kid asks about who their parents were, just to not be a dick. They're just like, yeah, they were cheaters and liars, and we hated them. Your dad liked to fart on people, and no. What do the spirit monks do exactly?
We served the Water Dragon as her guardians and protectors. We saw to the needs of her physical form, maintained Dirge, and honored her with worship and prayer.
Ah, so you guys were all major offended. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I don't even know why I said that. Sounds boring. Or is that all? Sounds boring.
We also served as shepherds for the dead. Most spirits came to Dirge in time, but sometimes a spirit was unable or unwilling to leave the mortal world behind. We would seek out these lost spirits. Those with unfinished business or those who had suffered traumatic deaths would need our help to reach Dirge. But now that the Water Dragon is gone, none of the spirits can find their way to Dirge. And those already here are trapped. The portal to the afterlife is sealed.
That's why all the undead have been becoming quite anxious. But that's one of the few questions I always have about fantasy, where they have a god about that shepherd's life to death. So is that throughout the whole world that this place currently resides in, or is it only in the Jade Empire? Does that mean there's other gods of death for other cultures, or is she the only god of or shepherd for death? That's always the thing about certain fantasy. If they say there's like it's all in this one land, but this like there's this huge globe, it's like, well, do all the spirits come to Dirge eventually, or is it just this section of the world? They never. I mean, obviously, we never got a sequel, so we don't know about. I mean, we are aware of the other places in the world, but we don't know if they follow the same rules. Like if there's a Western God of the Dead, or vice versa, or whatever. So, oh well, just something to think about. Tell me more about Dirge.
Dirge is a place between. It exists in both the mortal world and the spirit realm, and it leads to the underworld itself. It is a bridge between life and death. Once it was a holy place, but now it is defiled. Dirge has become a place of great evil and corruption, a corruption that has been growing for the past 20 years.
Yeah, we've seen that in the spirits and all that stuff. Oh, and Dirge also being corrupted because so it was born here in Dirge. What do spirit? Did I already ask that?
We serve the water dragon as her.
Okay, we did that.
Many, both your.
Okay, so I was just doubly. Wow, I was just making sure. Well, now it just won't let me go back. Okay, I think we should move on.
You are probably right. We must restore the water dragon's power before Sun Li gains full command of her powers.
All right, well, we've asked all the questions, so let's get to it. Let's fix these fountains like a modern day plumber. I just need to call Super Mario down here. He'll take care of it in no time. He's handled the spirits before. Boo's our type of spirit, right? I guess we can't go back this way. I was just checking. Sorry, the game is not designed past this point. Invisible plot walls, as it were. Fine. I think you can still talk to him if you want to repeat some of the questions, but I don't think we need to do that. All right. Ooh. Let's equip that Scholar Gem. The Ritual of Binding. The ability to bind a spirit is one of the great honors that the Water Dragon has bestowed upon us. Therefore, we must always remember to treat this gift with proper respect. When you bind a spirit, you become the guardian of that spirit. It is as though the spirit is your child. Though it is your duty to return the spirit to the Water Dragon for her judgment. Until you give the spirit over to her, you are fully responsible for that spirit. Since the spirit will obey your every command, you must always have the best interest of the spirit in mind while it is under your control. You must never command a spirit to do anything that might affect the Water Dragon's judgment of that spirit later on. And though it is common rule when binding spirits, I will repeat it again. Under no circumstance will you ever bind the spirit of a living person. Such acts are punishable by death and judgment at the hands of the Water Dragon herself. So basically, this is talking about like what happened with the prince. Yeah, they're doing a major taboo there. So, okay. Whoops, that's not the one. Whoops, nope. There we go. Actually, does he actually have a stat thing now? Oh, he does. Yep. Here's the final. Here's the bottom one here is for him. So that's nice. And we can still talk to Zenbu for some reason, but everyone's blacked out. But what's that final question mark? Huh. Yeah, probably. It's probably there as a placeholder. You know, can't really make a. That'd be weird to leave it like that. So yeah, it's probably nothing. Anyway, monk. His attack is this monk spade, which we have. We have ourselves, but we use the gun now. Sport recovers your key focus and health. Yeah, it's almost better just to have him be in well, I mean, it doesn't go super fast, but it still does it. So it's almost better to put him in support mode, just because he can, he heals everything. So, the Abbot of the Doomed Spirit Monks, Abbot's song serves the Water Dragon even in death. His hope for redemption lies with you. Okay, and then what's the thing here? Abbot's song has joined you. He told of how the fountains of Dirge are corrupted by his fellow monks, allowing Sun Li and the Emperor to overrun the temple. You must defeat the Guardians and then restore each of the fountains. This will restore some of the Water Dragon's powers so she will restore you to life. Find and destroy the Guardians and restore the mountains. We can do that. And then since he can, number 1. Alright, that should be easy. Are you guys immune to gun? Oops. Yes, you are. Okay. Wasn't sure. I forgot. I always forget stuff like that. Can I, no. Okay, so I can't, is he healing? You jerk. Nah, let him get too close to me. Alright, I'm gonna try it. Seems to be pretty resistant to fire or magic. There we go. Yeah, these guys are a little bit tougher than there. You can tell this is definitely the next step of the game if these guys are giving me, I wouldn't say super amount of trouble, but just a little bit. Ah! When we fire Scarecrow. Oops. I thought I moved fast enough. We need to take out at least one of these guys. Maybe I should have had the Abbot on a. It's just nice having a little bit of like. I think usually when I'm here, I usually do set Abbots on to support mode. I think just because usually here I do usually tend to run out of like spells and abilities and stuff like that. I could transform. I forgot about that. Actually, I haven't shown Jade Golem off, have I? Let's show it off, shall we? Yeah, look at that. I mean, it doesn't do a ton of damage. It still does damage, and I'm highly resistant to a lot of attacks. So that's why, like, half the time I tend to, or I have like high defense or whatever. I mean, she's hardly doing any damage with her magic, although it does like severely reduce my ki. But there we go. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I built up a transformation ability.
The guardian of this fountain is destroyed, and I weep for her. She was once one of our order, but lured by Lee's promises of wealth and power, she betrayed us.
Ah, well, screw her then. Oh, wait, but her body was used to corrupt the fountain, so. The woman was once a spirit monk, so she betrayed you? Who was she?
This thing is the corrupted spirit of Xiang Wu. During the attack, she and several other spirit monks betrayed us by tainting the holy fountains with human blood. Long before the attack, Lee sent spies to bribe some of our weaker members. When they tainted the fountains, the power sustaining us against the army vanished.
Well, corrupt from within, right? What happened? You never spent anything? Why didn't you mention this before? You were fooled to trust them. What happened to Xian Wu?
After the battle, the Emperor executed Xian Wu and the others, and he used the power of the water dragon to bind their spirits to the fountains.
Ha ha! Sounds like they got what they deserved. I don't understand how it got. Sounds like they got what they deserved.
Their crime was terrible, but they did not deserve this fate. They suffered endless torment from which they could never escape. Such is the power of the binding.
I can see binding is such a terrible thing, but could it be useful to us? Yeah. Why are we even talking about such nonsense? What's so bad about the binding?
The binding is a sacred ritual of the spirit monks. We can draw on the power of the water dragon to bind a spirit to us. It is one of our tools for shepherding the dead. Even before Dirge was befouled, there were ghosts in the world. Some spirits would become lost in their journey here, or refuse to let go of the mortal world and go mad. If we found one of these restless ghosts, we could bind it to us and bring it to Dirge. Then we would release the spirit, so the water dragon could lead it into the afterlife.
Well, like all things, there's always good and bad uses for the same thing. So the Emperor did this to Zhang Wu.
The binding is a great gift from the water dragon, if used properly. But the power can be abused. The Emperor bound the traitors not to himself, but to a place. A spirit can never escape such a binding. It feels an inexorable pull, but it has nowhere to go. It feels a compulsion to obey, but is never given a command. The spirit twists and corrupts, and in its agony it goes mad. Binding a spirit to a place is a terrible crime for our order. The only thing worse is binding a living creature.
Yeah, we read about that already. You can bind living people too. And continue how to bind the living. Is that how Sun Kim was bound to Li's armor? Does it have that kind of power?
Binding the living condemns them to a fate worse than death. It forces the subject to obey and robs them of their free will. As a spirit monk, you must never do such a thing. The ability to bind spirits comes from the essence of the water dragon inside you. You may not have the power now, but one day you will be able to call upon it when needed. But this is not the time for lessons or instruction. The Guardian is dead, but you must place the seal on the fountain for it to be fully restored.
I was hoping to ask about how to bind it, but maybe we'll get that information later. He did say something about us learning it eventually, so keep that in mind. Ooh, another level. Nice. Let's see. Yeah, probably keeping it even is probably the best way to go there for the most part. Despite me using focus a lot, I'd still rather... Ooh. Let's see. We are using Jade. Where's the Jade? We are using that a bit, so that'll decrease its cost. And then I'll give it full damage if I do that. Do that. Then Tempest will increase its damage too, so I can... Oops. Oh wait, it didn't say that, did it? Because I accidentally clicked out. Yeah, whoops. There we go. Okay. I think we're good to go. Alright, let's put the seal on. 1 down, 3 more to go.
It worked! The fountain is restored, and the gates to the inner courtyard have opened.
Who knew souls could get so happy. Alright, well, let's continue on, shall we? Ooh, and our life is all completely filled because our level, so I don't have to worry about that. Whoa, spirits! Oh. Huh. Interesting.
You have nothing to fear here. Though many dangerous beings dwell in Dirge, these monks and soldiers cannot harm you.
Yeah, because I'm awesome. I would defeat them all. Or they're not doing anything to me. What's going on here? Are these the spirits of those who died in the attack? They couldn't harm me anyway.
The monks and soldiers who fell during the battle are trapped here in Dirge. Caught in a never-ending war. They fight, they fall, only to rise and fall again. Li cut me down on the steps of the temple. My body fell and my spirit rose. Powerless, I fled toward the outer courtyard, while the battle still raged. I wanted to see if you had escaped. Instead, I saw Li take you, and I found myself trapped out here. The Emperor had sealed the gates behind me.
Haha, he's all the gates, but I mean, that sucks for you. So you can't get back in the temple. Why didn't you follow Li? So you ran like a coward, and now you can't get back.
My spirit cannot leave, Dirge. None of the spirits here can leave. For 20 years, I have been trapped in the outer courtyard, unable to pass through the gates. I cannot say what fate lies ahead, but after 20 years, your return gives me reason to hope once more.
Well, with my mentality about things, I don't know if you really want to bring about that hope that strongly, dude. But I assume the reason he hasn't gone crazy is probably because of his training, so he probably could keep his mind at least focused enough to not go bonkers from the the depression of not being able to do it. Okay, I was just seeing if there's anything I missed, like a treasure or anything like that. So not that I could really pick up treasures in this form. It just go through my hands. Look, my hands! Anyway, let's go inside.
The first fountain has been restored. You have done well.
Great mistress. It is heaven itself to see you again. I have been so lost without your wisdom.
I have left you without my guidance for far too long, Abbot Song. But I could not speak with you. My strength was consumed contacting the last of the Order. You are the last. There is no one else that can do what you are destined to do. I had to conserve and prepare. I did not know the exact day you would cross to this realm.
You didn't? You knew it was going to happen eventually? Oh yeah, I guess everyone's going to eventually die. Unless you're Sun Li now, who's got the power of a god. But I understand what much I do now. You knew I'd come here, you knew I'd die. Well, everyone dies. You've used me just as Master Li used me.
The glorious strategist laid his plans carefully. The only thing he could not account for was my intervention in the instant after the Emperor's death, before he took my power. You were doomed long before I or my abbot entered your company. Had you deviated from Sun Li's plan, he would have ended his experiment at a time I was still helpless. Li is consuming my power, drawing it through the amulet he stole when he betrayed you. You must restore the next fountain before it is too late.
Alright, I hear you, you watery tart. We've got this. Why can I still use the amulet if Master Li took it? Well, Master San told us why we could. Master Li still use my amulet against you. I stopped the Emperor. I could stop Li.
Perhaps, but Sun Hai did not have your amulet. Fortunately, you now see that as a spirit monk, essence gems will serve you without it. It is a pathway, not a source of power. The amulet trains you to access what is already present, something Sun Li misunderstood. However, as a focus, it still allows him to take my power much faster than his brother did. Let the wisdom of the abbot guide you if you need aid. Restore the second fountain, and I will speak to you again, if I am able.
Well, if I ever need a spirit to talk of circles around me and not tell me everything, I'll call you. So, alright, Abbot, let's go inside the inner courtyard.
I sense my former student refuses to rest easy. The time for subtlety is past. You are too valuable to abandon a second time. Come. We must return to Dirge.
Dun dun dun. Yep. Looks like Death's Hand's not dead for good. I knew it. Yeah, unfortunately that makes basically Sagacious Zoo's death like almost pointless. I mean, yeah, he stopped him and he didn't kill us then, but the fact that he still comes back later, I don't know. It is one of those sad things where you lose him so early. Well, actually, no, you play quite a bit of the game before you get to that part, so I don't know. But yeah, yep, Death's Hand's coming back, and they're coming to Dirge. So as soon as we survive, which obviously spoilers will happen, but we're gonna have to deal with Sun Li. Boy, we'll have to get prepared. Hopefully we won't be there as soon as we get back. But all right, well, we've got one we've got one. Ooh, well, I'm already healed, so I don't need that right this second. But all right, we got one fountain down, many more to go, and Sun Li's on his way to Dirge to stop us from stopping his plan. Will we be able to clear out the rest of the fountains and learn the rest of our history before Sun Li can prevent us? Find out next time in the next episode of Jade Empire. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.